to understand good quality. Let me leave it there, Mark. We should probably have kept it open as we went through, because it's a small audience, and people would have said, "Hey, wait a minute, I don't follow this." But let's leave it there. And Pravina, do you want to say a word before we open up?
At this particular time, in the last 6 to 8 months, when global has become a really contested area, where some countries are looking much more to personal, national needs, I think just looking, all of us individually, to see what does the global mean and what are the positives in engaging with it, because there are clearly a lot of positives, and what are the negatives, and how do we negotiate these for ourselves in our work, because universities are very involved in trying to globalize, internationalize, etc. And sometimes it's all being done without sufficient pressure on the very organizations that are asking us to do these things about why. Is it really good for us? What are the areas that we should be doing it in rather than not? So it's, we ask, how do international organizations, that's their purpose. Universities now are being pushed by it, but being members of universities, because if we're asking teachers to think about global, when they can't even get sufficient materials to do the local, what are we as universities doing ourselves to think about some of these issues? So I think I'm just going to throw another question, and something that should be looked at really is what are the positives of global, and can we constantly negotiate these in effective and positive ways in the work that we do, and what are the negatives, and therefore we pass these understandings down so that people see that it is something they can negotiate with as well, rather than just accept as a given and get pushed along in a stream which often is meaningless in very busy lives.
Thank you, Pravina. Ken, thank you very much indeed. You've opened up a huge can of worms, doesn't sound quite right, but asked some extraordinarily difficult and interesting questions. And
You want to leave it there?
I was thinking maybe
Right back to the beginning.
No, just to Jonathan Jansen's, because I, in a sense, I want to try to push the discussion now through pushing you a little bit, and I'm guessing that you're going with Jonathan Jansen's quote here, because I was wanting to try to press you into conclusion. You've used your a style which I am used to hearing from you, where you ask very critical questions and sort of expect us to think without really coming down to some fairly firm position yourself. And I'm going to infer that is you're happy with that, and that is your position, because then I want to ask you, is there any other way that it could be other than the way it is? Because surely none of us would want to give up on these SDGs. For all their failings, are they not good aspirational goals that we should all be thinking about? And isn't it a good thing that they're in the public discourse? One failing you certainly identified very clearly was that one would have thought sustainable development should be fairly and squarely aimed at the developed world. Who's destroying the planet? It's the developed world. You don't have to talk about some indigenous community in Southern Africa about how to sustainably develop. They've been doing it for centuries. They know. It's we who are screwing the place up, and it kind of needs aiming at us, but they're not. That's, I suppose, one key consequence of what you're saying. But I'm still wondering, isn't it a good thing that they're there in the aspirational domain? And isn't there no other way than the technical groups that have worked out the indicators and how we're going to measure these targets and how we're actually going to report each year? surely that was all they could do, was to come to some minimum kind of thing. Because they got to seek political agreement across 192 states, I think it is, to all agree, yeah, okay, we'll subscribe to that kind of thing. So I wonder if these are not just inevitable tensions about the process. You pointed to a very inclusive process led by, ultimately by Amina Mohammed, I would think, from what I could see when I was in UNESCO, a wonderful woman doing extraordinarily good work in leading much of the discourse here. But then I want to say, if one wants to be critical about is it really the UN who needs this more than anybody else? Is it for its own credibility?
Yeah.
I want to bring up the experience of somebody whose name I can't remember. Maybe Min can help me. He was Minister of Education in the Philippines. His first name is Victor. He was Director of Basic Education in UNESCO. He was Chair of ASEAN.
His name's like Orchidi.
Ordonez, is it?
Victor Ordonez.
Ordonez, that's it.
A wonderful man, and one of the things that he told me was the most successful thing he ever did was to put 9 ministers of education, ASEAN, sorry, not ASEAN, Southeast Asian ministers of education,
Senior.
in their meeting and say, what are you doing about gender in education in your country? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And to almost embarrass them in front of each other. And he says that initiative was his most successful initiative because they came back in a few years and actually had done something about it because they feared being embarrassed in front of their colleagues. So maybe the one one of the positive outcomes of this might be at least that countries are forced to take cognizance of these SDGs and to be facing off in front of each other and say, we're doing this, we've done that, however flawed the process might be.
Can we see, Mark, if anyone else wants to come in?
To open up on that.
Edward and then Jay.
Thank you so much, Professor King. Me basically, I am really a professor, and also Provina. But some of these really goals are really fantastic, but again, they are failing because of political agenda in our countries. Now, in the case of Uganda, the event you talk about, the UPE, National Education, Vision 2030, it's quite different, and the enormous if you cut Vision 2030 of UN and of Uganda, really. Uganda Vision 2030 is political. The proper education plans, welfare population, all these are driven politically. So the monitoring is poorly done because the ministers in charge, the executive secretaries in charge, they are subscribing to political parties and they are fulfilling their roles of the political party that the global agenda which affects the people of the country, and also the needs of the people within our countries. That's why some of these things here, really, they are good globally and they put them on paper. But when you come to our countries, they're becoming failures. An example is universal education versus free education. Sincerely, there's no free education. In the universal education, there's a cost. Because like about the conflict in Uganda one time, parents were saying that the president said in his campaign of 1997 that all primary school going children should pay nothing.
Yeah.
So parents took children to school minus books, minus pens, minus uniform, because it's free. Reaching the school, the teacher demand for books.
Yeah.
They put on the president. So you say everything's free. So this kind of agenda really politics is not failing it. Back to African Union, I think it's more like
That's a highly
a dead lion. It's a dead lion.
That's interesting. Jay, do you want to come?
Yeah, there was Jay and Tamara also.
And Tamara.
Yeah,
Oh, Tamara,
Jay,
sorry.
I think Jay had his hand up first, maybe.
Kenneth, personal question to you. You have been in African studies for a long time and you're an expert. Have you ever gotten malaria yourself?
Malawi?
Did you catch
Malaria.
malaria?
No, no, I've had plenty of mosquitoes, as has Pravina, on my body, but I've never managed to get malaria. What's the question?
Yeah, the question is a bit related. It's not malaria, of course. Look at that. Malaria has two type of varieties. One is like vivax, another one is falciparum, and these falciparum varieties are very resistant for treatment.
Yeah.
And because it hides in the liver and every now and then it comes out to the bloodstream, and it's a systemic kind of malaria. Normally it kills people. I saw one guy dying of that. When I see all these millennium goals that failed, other goals that failed, now we have the SDGs since 2016, I see sort of a malaria kind of case, that we try our best, we struggle, we hate it, we try our best, but we never achieve the total elimination. I was yesterday checking what kind of disease mankind was able to eliminate 100%. There is only one.
Smallpox.
Smallpox. That's the only one. And there is another zoonosis that we are able to eliminate, but that's animal disease, not a human disease. So all these SDG, they are plausible and they are very laudable, noble and ideal, but it seems to me that basically but by 2030, or some passages I see in your booklet that is 2020, so it sounds like pretty naive, and so I take it not as that they are wrong. They are totally right. You have to struggle for it, you have to fight for it. But I think that that we can achieve all these goals. It's, I think, quite illusory. It's a dream. A dream. So I think it's more or less like struggling against malaria. Either you act with the idea of eradicating some, eliminating completely, or palliating something, like you give a palliative treatment. It seems to me that SDG is a palliative kind of strategy and goals, rather than eradication.
You've got the makings of an interesting article. The MDG says malaria, question mark, I know you write interesting papers, so something that catches the eye, because it's very much tomorrow, we'll come back.
And Jay is highly qualified as a pediatrician.
Pediatrician, yeah.
He may well bring that metaphor to bear.
Yeah. Come on.
I actually, to follow up on Jay's comment, I disagree on the eradication goal because it's not ecological. In the system, nothing can be eradicated or eliminated. It just needs to be very well managed, and that's what the goals are looking for the management. It's my first comment. My second comment has to do with the two observations that I made. Being engaged in the process of sustainability education, constructing sustainable development goals. I got engaged in 2012 as part of the group in the Brazil Rio Summit. We contributed a small symposium on education to contribute the outcome of the education part in it, which to my, never mind. So then I had a privilege to be part of the working group which advised government in one of these countries who are now sitting in Beijing, the starting point, advising president on sustainability and sustainable development and sustainable development goals, and which is Russia. And to my shocking And then I was part of the small UK group who does the research on sustainable development and reporting in the European Union. So the differences I've observed in the process is that the countries we're most concerned with and the countries who are involved in the meeting in Beijing now, those who are pressing for leadership and sustainable development are major dictatorships in the world. So it's a political process. Russia is very, just like China, is very much interested in pushing the goal through. Yet, the language of international agencies, such as sustainability and sustainable development, is not used when it comes down to the field.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the field, and we're talking about teachers, and up to educational level, in Russia, the word sustainability and all these policies are eliminated from the discourse, discussion, textbooks. The language uses or targets the philosophy which feeds the agenda, the local political agenda, which is Northern Eurasianism. These and in China,